Hello sweet people, let's make this needle case today. This is a supplementary video resource for the written tutorial which you can find in my Etsy store. The tutorial also includes these cute care tags. You can print them out if you're given this book as a gift. This needle book has lots of pockets and spaces where you can house your stitching accessories and other bits and bobs. The detailed recommendations for tools and materials can be found in the written tutorial. Let's begin. Print out the pattern on either regular paper or cardstock. Cut out all the pieces as marked, not forgetting the itty-bitty ones. Score along the lines as marked on the pattern using a precision knife or a sharp edge of scissors. Fold along the scored lines. This will assist greatly with transferring these lines to felt pieces later. And don't forget the needle minder piece. I'll show you how these folds help using the wide pocket piece as an example. Holding the pattern firmly in place, fold down each section and mark the lines one by one. It's super easy and the lines turned out really nice and straight. There is a little trick with the brim piece. Trace the brim to felt as usual, then trim away the first oval of the paper pattern. Align it to the brim piece and trace it. Then do exactly the same with the next layer of the pattern. These lines can be drawn freehand, but this way it makes it so much easier. Cut out the rest of the pieces and transfer all other pattern markings. Don't forget the fabric pieces as well. Lay all the pieces out to make sure you didn't miss anything. This pretty collage certainly should give you enough motivation to continue. Pin the spine to the middle of the book cover and attach it with a whip stitch on both sides. Make very small, almost invisible stitches. Align the spine pattern piece with the felt spine of the book. Transfer all horizontal lines and the dot points where the heart designs begin. And don't forget the middle of the daisy. Starting from either end of the spine, embroider one small heart using the lazy daisy technique and the bigger one just below it. Fill the bigger heart with an extra stitch. Repeat the mirrored embroidery on the opposite end. Continue embroidering other design elements in white thread, smaller and bigger leaves, the bigger flower stem, small stitches for small leaves, and loops for bigger ones. Repeat the mirrored embroidery on the opposite end. Grab your pattern for the flower center and note dots marking borders of 8 segments. Align the pattern piece with the middle of the spine and transfer those dot points. Embroider your lazy daisy in the middle using the dot points for the location of each petal. Stitch over the spine to create horizontal division lines. Stitch a small cross for the daisy center. Mark the center of the left panel. Lay out the dragonfly's wings to meet in the center point. Mark the location of wing tips to guide you further. Attach all 4 wings one by one, starting at the base of each. Draw a line for the dragonfly's body. Make a long stitch from the bottom of the body to the top. And then another one in the opposite direction. Do not pull on your thread. Mark spots for the eyes. Each eye is represented by a teeny tiny French knot. Make horizontal stitches across the body to indicate the segments you can find on the real dragonfly. Using the reference diagram and the instructions, mark the segments on the wings. I like to think of them as veins on leaves. It makes it so much easier to draw. Work the top and bottom wings first, then embroider and only after move to the second pair. You can find more detailed images of the wing embroidery in my written instructions. Repeat the process for the opposite set of wings. Make a small French knot on the tip of each wing. You can iron your page on wool setting, but be careful around the French knots. Pin and then whip stitch each applique element to the right panel. First all elements in white, then brown, yellow, green, dark green and finally orange. Note that some elements will need to be attached with an overlap. To embroider leaf veins, you can use the guides on the pattern pieces. First, make a stitch through the middle, then add slanted stitches parallel to each other, connecting the marked dots and the middle vein. Embroider each leaf this way. Embroider the head detail and the chin in brown thread. Mark a straight line in the middle of each eye and dots for nostrils. Make one stitch across, then two below it of the same length, then one below a little shorter, and the next one shorter still. Repeat the last 4 stitches again above the middle line. Embroider the nostrils and complete the second eye. Just a tiny bit spooky. Make 2 French knots in each eye for highlights. Don't tighten the knots too much, otherwise they won't be seen. Not as spooky anymore and very cute. Complete the sections on the hat's brim in white thread. Make 3 knots for each flower center. Complete the hat top with 2 lines of running stitches in yellow, just to hint to the straw nature of the hat. To finish the eyes, make a series of split stitches in yellow around the pupil. Repeat for the second eye. Cut 2 strings of orange cotton approximately 15 or 16 centimeters long. Tie a knot at the end of each string. Thread a needle with a string and stitch through a brim side, leaving a knot on the wrong side of the embroidery. Repeat for each string separately. Make a series of horizontal stitches to keep the string in place on either side. Tie a cute bow and secure it further with more stitches. Tie a knot at the end of each string. Cut it off. Et voila! The front cover is ready. Attach a white flower to one of the small pocket pieces. Whip stitch the flower center, then add 3 French knots. Align 2 pocket pieces together and blanket stitch, leaving around 0.7 centimeters unstitched on either side. Start with a double knot and then continue on with your blanket stitch as usual. Up until around this point. With the thread still attached, pin the pocket to the center of the right panel about 0.7 centimeters away from the edge of the page. Make a diagonal stitch in the corner, picking the page panel from the bottom as well. Reinforce it by stitching twice in it. Then continue on with the blanket stitch, ensuring the page panel is also picked up. Continue on up until 0.5 centimeters away from the opposite corner. When you reach the corner, again make a double diagonal stitch. Then pull the thread under the very first blanket stitch you've made on the pocket to complete the loop. Make a knot, tighten it well, stitch away and cut your thread. Find the tie cover piece and using the flower center template, mark 8 dots to embroider daisy petals. Make the flower and the yellow center. Put away your tie cover for now, we'll need it later. Using the paper template, align the white pocket piece with the needle minder. Pin it in place. Attach with a running stitch, leaving around 1 cm and stitch on the left hand side. Align the pocket to the spine edge and pin it in place. Make sure there is an overhang in the bottom and on the left hand side edge. Stitch the right edge of the pocket in place in a similar way as the small pocket. Leave around 0.7 cm and stitch in the bottom. Stitch along the smaller pocket sections, bottom parts first, then the top. Reinforce the top stitches. Lay out all the applique elements onto the page. Mark the positions with chalk if you need it. Referring to how these elements have been previously attached and embroidered on the front cover, work them one by one. And just like that, it's done! Sandwich the fusible web between 2 fabric pieces, then iron on hot setting. Trim away any uneven edges after ironing. You can even use pinking shears for this. Mark the location for your velvet ribbon, fold it in half and pin to the page. Pin the elastic tie the same way. Stitch over both of them using a sewing machine. Bring all the loose threads after stitching to the wrong side, secure the ends and cut off the excess thread. Cut off the excess of the elastic tie as well. Time for the tie cover. Align it on the right panel to cover the machine stitching and whip stitch in place. Pin the fabric piece to the center of the right panel. Stitch with the sewing machine and again bring loose threads to the wrong side and secure them with a knot. Fold the edges of the rickrack ribbon on both sides and pin it over the fabric to cover the machine stitch. Trim away any excess from folding. Stitch with the machine over the either end and 4 cm away from the right edge. Secure the loose threads again. Nice and neat, and we are ready for the assembly stage. Using some clips or pins, pin page spreads front sides together. Make sure to match the center perfectly. It looks a bit odd, but don't fret. Start blanket stitching from the top right edge. Tuck away the knot between pages and make a double knot for the first stitch so it's not slanted. Just like that. Make a diagonal stitch in each corner so it looks nice and neat. When you go over the loops, make sure the horizontal bits of your blanket stitch remain on the front cover side. Trim away any excess felt bits only when you get to them while stitching, not beforehand. When you get to the hanging loop, stitch right through it. After all stitching is done, iron it on wool satin through a thin cloth. It will help the book to stay closed with no effort. Attach a small button. Draw some cute chicks with a red pencil, only if you want to. The instructions also include these care tags that you can print out. They are great if you're making your books as a gift. Thank you for putting your trust in this little adventure and for following along. I really hope you've had a lot of fun creating your very own piece of functional art. I would really appreciate if you could provide any feedback under this video. Thank you and enjoy.